So there is a video on TikTok of a nurse. It's going viral, and this nurse is kind of talking about the dangers of a gay lifestyle, basically, and how gay people are actually endangering themselves because there are certain transmissions, if they were to get them, sexual transmissions, if they were to get them, particularly gay men, it's very difficult to treat them. She states why, and she explains it and she breaks it down. Now, I wanted to talk about the laws of God, but by the law of God, I'm going to make a reference to the laws of Messiah. We'll clarify that in a second. Compared to the laws of the country, the laws of this world, and all of that. It's a reality show with daily Christian commentary videos. Other episodes down in the pinned comments. I'll play you this video, and I'll be back.
I want to speak to young gay men, 30 years downwards. Yeah, young. So that I'm gonna be comfortable to call you Batabam. But very it's this young J Abangan, 30 years downwards. Listen to me, my boys, very carefully. It's very difficult to cure the STI anally. Because remember, to the anus kuna folds. The anus is an elastic and it. So uma ngabuya toilet uvula iyavuleka then iyagokana. It's got folds. And kulawa folds lawo, remember, infection it gets entertained kwi area warm. And back there's E. coli. So this E. coli ingenza kube difficult ukuthi securishe the STI if when you're gonna have reoccurring infections at the back there. I want to warn you about something, Madam. Go and check your status. I spoke to you to the previous video ngathi gay people are more exposed with HIV due to ukuthi anus iyashesha, like number 1 ithambile, and number 2 ukulimala, bruises and whatsoever, it's easy, then you enter HIV again. So I just wanted to warn you.
So she mentions that because of the warmth that is at the back of the rectum, at the back, okay, in the rectum, back, and all that, because the warmth that remains there, and softness and all of that stuff, what happens is that state of continued state, because it closes, it opens, it closes, it opens, that means that infection stays there. And if it stays there and it's warmish and it's whatnot, unlike you having something on your hand, you're able to wash it off and air is able to blow over it, and so it doesn't stay wet, it doesn't stay. He says that's the reason why it becomes difficult to treat those particular infections. You see, the back was not meant, we repeat, the back was not meant for intercourse. It was not. God in his wisdom knew you go that way, you're going to have problems. There is a lot of documentaries there that not so many now, it's very hard to find them actually, but there was documentaries that was made when AIDS pandemic AIDS epidemic came up, right, in the 80s, 90s, and all that type of stuff. There's documentaries from that period of people who got sicknesses because of the AIDS thingy, because of the era of sexual freedom. And if you go back and you watch them, they talk about these things. They talk about these illnesses of a gay lifestyle, basically. But you see, God puts it there to allow us to understand, even though we might not know why, through science, we are able to find out, okay, now that's dangerous. You don't want to do that. But you see, God does it. Even though He might not explain it, He does it because He knows long term, not good for you. He restricts it because, but now look at what the laws do. Look at what rights, human rights. Look at what those things do. Yes, a human has rights. Yes, right to life, rights of what. But there are certain rights you don't need. For instance, you don't need the right to be disobedient to God. You don't need it. Now you might protest and do what and do all of that stuff. I saw people protesting in Cape Town and all that entire jazz. You see, you might want that, but you don't need it. You don't need it. As a matter of fact, you don't really want it. You don't need it. Let me use what need. You don't need it. Now you might want it, but you don't need it because the need expresses the dangers behind all of these things. Now this is why I wanted to talk specifically about the laws of God, the laws of Messiah, and also the laws of the country. The laws of the country would look at whatever. It's basically Hellenistic beliefs, systems. Or what do you call them? Secular. The secular ideologies. These things will lead you or expose you to let yourself go. Right? They will tell you, no, you can go on and do that. You, as a matter of fact, you have the right to do that. Then they go all the whole 9 yards. But what they don't care about is giving you rights to disobey God. They do not ever address that. They don't address. If you see me looking outside, I'm just making sure that cars are not stopping here because it becomes a little bit loud. They do not tell you these rights. Hey, by the way, we're giving you these rights, but please do remember these rights are actually war against God. They're not gonna warn you of that. But it's important for you as an individual to see these laws directly put me in harm's way against God. They endanger me against God. This is why I say you don't need it. Now, if you don't reverence God, that's one thing, right? If you don't reverence God, that's one thing. But if scientifically, apart from listening to God, scientifically, if you were to go scientific concerning these things, you remember when the whole transgender issue came up, whatnot, people warned there is a lot of health consequences that are going to come with this thing because you are giving them rights, but you are not acknowledging their health, their mental health needs. So they gave a lot of people rights. A lot of people went and did all kinds of surgeries and whatnot. And now you see videos of people regretting going through surgeries and whatnot and all this thing because it means something. It's something God created it. God don't make mistakes. God created it with that thing. There's a reason. The moment it's not there, something's gonna be missing. Don't think you're just gonna figure out whatever life brings up ahead. So a lot of people went that route, right? And what it created this vacuum that they were not expecting. They had this regret. I remember one particular video initially when these laws about gay rights came up and transgender, all this entire jazz. There was one particular gentleman who made this video. It was actually a lady. She was a lady who transitioned to be a man, and she made the surgery. And she really regretted it. And she said she did not expect. She said, as a woman, you get so many compliments in a day. Like, that was the one thing that stuck with me from that testimony. She said, I just didn't realize how lonely a man's life is. A man's life is lonely. She says, as a woman, if I had a problem, people would literally rush to help. But as a man, they expect you to have it in place. They expect you to figure it out. This lady was saying, to transition to a man, but we're going to call it lady. He said the life of a man is a lonely life. And that was the regret. You see, for other people, they might have all these other things that they struggle with. This person struggled with the loneliness of a man's life. You see, I was born a man. Man's chilled. I've had that experience my entire life. Now you jump when you're now 19, 20 to this life will create problems for you. But you see, the laws of the land don't care about what the consequence. It's like the police, for example, right? You're doing your case and whatnot. They give you bail. Now, yeah, bail, you're right, whatnot, right? But you might be in the wrong and you get bail. For some people, they get bail, they go do worse. Now they are in violation of a bail. So you see, that same law that seemed good for you, you didn't need. Because first of all, you were already in violation of God's thing, of God's standard for how you ought to be as an individual. By the way, if you really looked at a country's laws are actually a reflection that man within common law has a mutual understanding of what a standard of life should be, an expectation out of a person. So it doesn't exactly, right? And the laws of a country don't exactly say, hey, God created us with values, but hey, we're going to take some of those and we're going to say, hey, y'all got to look at each other like this. When you look at the Ten Commandments, the most famous Ten Commandments, you'll notice that in the commandments, 4 are about God, 6 are about men. God cared that much to tell us more about how we ought to treat each other. So that should tell you something. And what should it tell you? It should tell you that the laws of man actually mostly copy from God. So which makes which one superior? The laws of God. But by the laws of God, I mean the standard which God expects men to live by. But they will copy and not take a direct quote. But they will then give you laws that go completely opposite, having recognized the true value, but they will then go opposite to getting you to fight God. Now that sounds weird. The same person you copied, you would then go opposite. This tells you something. You have to make a decision pertaining what you see. You're going to go the route of something that might endanger you because it has gone opposite certain portions of rules that God lays out. You're going to go opposite that. The very same people that copied from it then tell you, no, go against him. Yeah, by the way, we're giving you laws copied from God's law. But then, hey, you know what? Like, for instance, laws that pertain property and whatnot and stuff. The law literally mimics that. But then the very same will tell you to go opposite. The same person that copied is the same person that tells you to go opposite. You have to be the one that decides. Which one are you going to listen to? It's tricky. These things are there for us to observe, learn from. You decide what you choose to live with. As for me and my house, we shall worship the Lord. Because I'm not going to listen to someone that dares to copy and then wants to disregard. That don't make sense. Something's wrong. What did you see it first that made you regard it to copy? But then you disregard it, make me want to fight him. Something's wrong. Somebody is wrong. The question is who? The Bible says, let all men be liars and only God be true. The question is, which one do you decide? It's Ricky. We out.